right, welcome to the video. I want to share with you my take on weight loss journey versus health journey and what that looks like and what that feels like. And the reason I'm creating this video is because I want to share with you my day and my process and how I do this. And so it's the end of the day for me. It's the night. I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I just came from a meeting and I just kind of loosely, I'll show you, I just kind of took some notes about my day. And so on this channel, what I do is I help you to see how you're aligning life, health, and business. So we want to just kind of have that context as we're having this discussion or this conversation, okay? So life, health, and business. And I don't believe that they're able to be separated. Like they don't individually live in a vacuum. Like how we do one thing is literally how we do everything. So I just kind of went through my day, and it's not everything, but it's the things that really came up for me that felt like a trigger, that really made some noise, internal noise, that just woke some things up. I'll just say that. And I think that it's cool, right? Even this is a thing because I don't really come and share my truth, right? I kind of come buttoned up on social media and so forth, and I see the importance of just being real and bringing the real you. And even that in and of itself is a challenge to your personal value when you're showing up and you're not positioning the camera so that your best side is showing and so forth. So the reason well, let's just get into it. So one of the things that came up, I scheduled a DEXA scan, and if you're not familiar with what that is, I'm going to create another video, but I want to share with you kind of what came up around that. So one of the things that I chose to do was to fast prior to the DEXA scan, and the scan was at about 4:00 this afternoon. So when you have been dieting a lot for many years, it becomes very challenging for some of us to separate I'm doing this for my health versus what diet culture or what you've told yourself for many years, right? So that in and of itself, there's this duality, there's this conflict inside where part of you wants to lose weight and change your body. And because weight is not synonymous with health, like you can lose weight. There are many ways to lose weight that are not healthy. Really what we want is health and what health brings to us. And so that is a very important piece to be with and to understand that wow, what I'm actually prioritizing energetically may not be the thing that's most important, nor is it the thing that I absolutely want. Okay. So being there for my son, having the energy to, be very active in my ministry and things like that. Like those are the core things that are really important to me. But this focus on weight is really not the piece, because that is trying to shift something, trying to change something, the way that you look, because of being dissatisfied with who you are in the moment, with who you are in this current, like the space that you're taking up currently. And that's really important because that is the thing that you want to bring to your personal tapping session, or if you're working with a EFT tapping coach. Those are the pieces that are going to really be valuable for you to acknowledge. And that is just important to just acknowledge that and to be with that. And as you're tapping, and if you don't know much about tapping, you can just tap while I'm having this conversation with you, and that's okay, because the science behind it shows the value of just allowing your body to process the emotions that come up consciously and unconsciously as you're even talking about these very what can sometimes be intense topics. All right. So I'm not going to go so much into detail, but just sharing with you kind of what came up for me today. And with you, I'm processing this. So I've already kind of done this work a little bit, and I have my notes here just so that I can stay on task and share with you what came up. But as I'm bringing this up, I'm literally years and years of dieting and not really valuing yourself, or valuing yourself or myself, or when you look in the mirror, what you see, are they positive thoughts? Are they good thoughts? And there's somewhere inside that makes you think that when I, then I, right? That kind of stinking thinking that it's really a false belief. So no judgment on the thinking. It's just not true. It's not true that you will value yourself more. And even just noticing that, like stinking thinking, that's a judgment on the thoughts, right? And so what we want to do is just be with those thoughts, just acknowledge them, and even acknowledging that judgment, right? That I'm judging it. And just sliding into the truth, right? The belief or the thought is that, man, for many, many years, I've just wanted to be in a thinner body because thin ideal is what you see all around you, right? And so that makes sense, just validating that makes sense. But the truth is, my core values are connected with something deeper in the things that I absolutely want. Okay. And so that's one thing that kind of came up for me today around the DEXA scan. And it's also memory, because getting those type of scans and taking these weigh-ins and so forth, if my intention is to kind of get a reading of where things are within my body, and I'm using fasting and some other ways to support my system and how I feel and the energy that I have, right? That's the truth. And it's really training my brain to lean into that direction while still acknowledging the thoughts and the feelings that come up, old patterns and so forth. So we're not ignoring those things. We are acknowledging them. I just want to really emphasize that. That's the point there. So I went to the store. This was another thing that came up for me. I went to the food store. Now, I went to the food store in a fasted state. And so when I got in there, of course, you're seeing food. If you're going fasted or hungry, sometimes that can be, food can be a trigger because you're in a fasted state. And it was okay for me to break my fast. I felt that I wanted to. But sometimes when I break a fast, it may be like eating too quickly or eating too much. And so I wanted to be intentional. And that's when I kind of stepped in as the responsible adult in a situation, right? And I put the food in the bag, and it's not that the food is bad. It's nothing wrong with the food. It was just the choice was macadamia nuts that I wanted to have some. The reason I chose to just say, you know what, let's just wait until we get home. I made a nice salad and I had some chicken and some other things along with it. But the reason is because I prefer to eat at home at the table, creating an experience, as opposed to like snacking in the car, because that's a very typical thing that I'm snacking in the car. And then if I break my fast with macadamia nuts, then I probably will finish the entire bag, because it's not really that big of a bag. And so it was okay for me to feel safe enough to just pause and say, you know what, you'll be home and you'll be eating probably in about 40 minutes. So let's just wait until that, because that's going to best serve you. I'll be able to get some probiotics in and some prebiotic fiber in with my meal and so forth. And so that's what I chose to do. The thing about it is that it doesn't always work that way. And I think that the important piece here is just acknowledging what's coming up and what's going on. Despite whatever choice we make, we don't need the judgment. That's not what helps us. That's not what supports us. And so if you're noticing that things are coming up, we can acknowledge it and then make a decision. We can make a choice that's going to best serve us. And if we make a choice that we feel is not serving us the best way, we want to understand why that choice did serve us in that moment, because it did serve us. Whether we think it served us or not, it did serve us on some level, even if it's emotional or even if it's a pattern that makes us to feel safe and so forth. So just really kind of understanding that for ourselves I want to invite you to let me know how this landed for you. Do you have an opportunity to kind of look through your day and see what came up for you in this way? Does this make sense to you? Do you feel like this doesn't make sense? A lot of people are on the hustle. You got to discipline yourself and you got to just push forward. And I know that doesn't work for most people. It just doesn't work for most people. And, when you're having an emotional issue, you need to address that emotional issue. Now, for some people, it's great, but if it works, the question is, are you genuinely happy with that? Do you feel truly good about yourself? What is the level of, the level of sustainability for that process? And what's your preference, right? So this might not be your thing, but I think that this is important, especially for those of us who are entrepreneurs and looking to have that connection between life, health, and business, so we're not running our bodies in the ground for the sake of our business, and our business is not suffering because we feel like we have to choose one versus the other. So thank you very much for checking out this video. If you'd like to check out my masterclass on EFT tapping and how to align your life with your business, you can do so, the link below, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye for now.